I managed to grab one of these, the limited and rare release black label from Barrell. Now, was it worth the hunt? Was it worth the price? Let's find out. Welcome back to Old Fashioned Ways Plus Plus. I'm Doc Martinez, and today we'll be reviewing this limited and rare released Barrell Vantage Toasted. Just look at that bottle and look at that label. How beautiful. Now, this was an extremely limited production of 330 bottles that was released online on March 5th. I managed to get one. Now, I want to know, was it worth the stress and the money to grab one before it sold out in minutes? Here's what Barrell has to say about this bottle. Toasted Vantage is a unique interpretation of award-winning Vantage Bourbon. Vantage is a blend of straight bourbons finished in 3 distinct expressions of virgin oak, Mizunara, French, and toasted American oak. This limited release Toasted Vantage underwent further maturation in Grand Cru limited edition American oak barrels for 22 months. The resulting blend is a refined warm bourbon with distinct wood characteristics and enhanced notes of vanilla, tropical fruit, sandalwood, and graham cracker. Ooh, all that sounds very good. And 22 months, we all know 22 is my number, right? So that just makes me a little bit more excited, and I can't wait to try this. But anytime I do a review, I love to share because this is the way. So stay tuned to find out how you can win a sample of this. Let's get into the bottle details. Bottle details. Barrell Vantage Toasted, limited and rare release black label. Classification, blend of straight bourbon whiskey. Distillery, Indiana, Tennessee, and Kentucky, bottled in Kentucky. Release date, March 5th. Proof on this bad boy, 115.16 proof, making it 57.58% ABV. Aged, none stated. Finish, Mizunara, French, and toasted American oak, plus 22 months in Grand Cru limited edition American oak barrels. Mashbill, none stated. MSRP, $200. Anytime I do a review, I use a scoring of 1 to 10 on aroma, flavors, complexity, mouthfeel, finish, and would I buy again. All right, time to get into the fun part. Let's start reviewing this. So let's look at this first. So it's a nice dark color. On their notes, they had it that was copper, and I can see that that is a nice dark copper color. And I like that description. I think I'm gonna use that on future reviews. Looking to see if it forms any legs. It does form some legs. They're not very tight, but they are going down nice and slow. So I'm hoping that means that there's gonna be good viscosity in this, right? So let's go in for that nose. Aroma. Ooh, that is just a sweet nose. Now, before I get into this, I do like Vantage. It's one of my different pours I like from them. It's one that kind of started me on a bourbon journey as well. I like the sweetness and the complexity to it, but it's also a great sipper. So I'm hoping this lives up to that and just makes that much better. So on the nose, very, very sweet on the nose. You can smell like there's some grain in here as well. Some nuttiness. It smells a little bit like a candy too. Like kind of almost like an orange, like a hint of orange candy, like those soft candies that you chew on that kind of have a more of a candy orange flavor more than an orange like fruit flavor. Ooh. So for that aroma, I like the way it's starting off. I like that sweetness. I like that it hits the nose. I like that it's not punching you. So I'm gonna give that a 7. All right, time for that first taste. Now I haven't had anything else to drink tonight, so this is my first sip of the night. So let's go in for that. Initial taste, a little bit more spicy than I thought because it smells so sweet. You get a little bit of the spiciness. I get a lot of nuttiness pretty quickly over the tongue. There's a hint of bitterness in there as well. A little bit of some cocoa beans as well. That's a very light hint. But I kind of went through that kind of quickly. There was a lot going on there for my initial taste. So I did like that, and I think I'm gonna stick with a 7 for that as well. All right, let's go for complexity. How does that evolve on the tongue? And a lot of times with these second flavors, you get a lot more of that flavor through there. Still a lot of that nuttiness. The spice wasn't as spicy because it's my second taste. My tongue has acclimated. You get a lot of different flavors in there. You're getting some honey, like a honey, almost like I should say, a toast with honey. So kind of a little bit of burnt toast with a little bit of honey on it. You do have some darkness and some tannin, some dark chocolate in here. That's interesting. I like that it keeps the mouth warm. There's a hint of the flavor still there, and we'll talk more about that in a little while. There's some fruitiness, but kind of that orange kind of coming through at the end, but just a very little light hint of that. Overall, for complexity, it goes through a good amount of complexity there. I'm actually going to give that a 7.2. All right, let's go for a mouthfeel. thickness and viscosity on this. Every time I take a drink, that nuttiness seems to come through. You're getting more of that like cocoa chocolate flavor to it. There's some spice in there, and that spice hasn't completely gone away, but you still have that like allspice in there as well. It sticks to the tongue very nicely. The mouthfeel on the viscosity coats my tongue, coats the upper part of my mouth, and I like when it does that because it just sits there and stays there a little bit longer. I really do like this mouthfeel, and so for the mouthfeel, I'm gonna give that 7.5. All right, let's go in for the finish. Ooh. So you still get all those initial flavors. You're starting to get more of that tannin in there, that with a little bit of that extra aging that you're getting. There's some of that what you would call a leather note in there as well, and I do like that. I like the way it feels on the tongue, but you still have that sweetness with that spice. That spice just hits there and kind of stays there for a little bit longer. That's what I kind of feel at the end. I do like it, and I do like that the way it finishes. I like that it just stays on the tongue and doesn't fade too quickly, but it leaves a nice strong hint. It's not just a hint, but it's a strong hit of those flavors. But I still have that, you know, that little nice burn in the back of my throat right now. And this is only at a, what is it, 115.16 proof. So that's not a very high proof to kind of keep it there and just keep those flavors going. So for finish, I'm gonna give that a 7.5. So now the big question, would I buy again? This is a $200 bottle. The problem I have with this is there is no age statement, other than that we know that it is a finished in that Grand Cru for another 22 months. I don't know what the age statement on this is. $200 is a lot of money for any bourbon, and it's hard, and with only 330 bottles, I'm sure it's sold out, so I'm sure it's almost gonna be almost impossible to get. Do I think this is a $200 bottle of bourbon? No. I'm glad I got it. I'm glad I got to try it. But I want to say it's like $130 to $150 that I would pay for this. That extra, you know, price, I feel like it's just a little bit overpriced for what it is. I do enjoy this, and I'm gonna enjoy sharing this, and we'll talk about that in a little while as well. But would I buy a backup of this? No, I wouldn't. Am I glad I have it? Yes. So because of all that, and because I know how limited this is, I'm actually gonna give that a 5.5. So I got 41.7 out of 60. Not a bad score, but for a $200 bottle, I would expect that score to be a little bit higher. I did like this pour, and I do enjoy it. And I do love Vantage. I love the Vantage, and I will buy another bottle of Vantage day in, day out. I always have one on my shelf. I finish one off. I have a brand new bottle in my cupboard here, but I will not buy a backup of this one. I do enjoy it. I think it's a good pour. I like the complexity. I like a lot of things about it. I just don't think it's $200. So the Vantage is like, what, $60? And I enjoy the Vantage enough that I don't think that this one is worth that much more than the Vantage. I'll just stick to the Vantage and enjoy that as a sipper. I'm glad I have this so I can try it and share it with you guys. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how can you win a sample. So if you haven't, please hit that like button. Make sure to go hit that, and it helps me out. And also, that is the subscribe button you are looking for. Now, you don't want to miss out on any new videos and fun giveaways. So in the comments below, let me know your favorite barrel whiskey. Is it the Vantage? Is it their Infinity? Is it their Toasted? Is it their batches? I think they're on batch 36 right now. Well, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave hashtag Barrel Vantage. Hashtag Barrel Vantage. Well, my friends, thank you for joining me again on another journey down my whiskey rabbit hole. To our next journey, my friends, cheers.